Caitlin Clark's new Kobe PE shoe sold out in less than a minute. And I saw so many tweets about this, so many people who were so sad that they missed out on this shoe. I saw that there was this one Dick's store and people were lined up around the corner, like camping out, trying to get this.
Nike just pulled off the biggest corporate facepalm of the decade, and A'ja Wilson is absolutely fuming. After pouring mountains of cash into hyping up Wilson's brand, while Caitlin Clark was out here setting social media on fire every time she so much as tied her sneakers, Nike finally snapped out of it.
Nike finally delivers Caitlin Clark PE. Is this the first Caitlin Clark exclusive Nike commercial since she's entered the WNBA? I know she's made a cameo here, she's made a cameo there, she was featured as part of this rollout here, featured as part of this rollout there, but is this our first official Caitlin Clark solo?
They've spent years betting the farm on the wrong superstar, and now reality has smacked them upside the head. As Nike pivots toward the woman who actually makes cash registers sing, A'ja Wilson is having a meltdown that's downright theatrical. Because let's be real, this drama isn't just about flashy sneakers. It's about Nike basically admitting they wasted years promoting the wrong face, while Caitlin Clark's mere presence crashes their website harder than your grandma scrolling through Facebook. If you support Caitlin, comment "Baby Goat" down below. Let's go.
And was thought to be a colorway made just for her up until just a couple days ago, where Nike's official images of the shoes got leaked and the announcement was made saying that everyone will now have a chance.
Alright, let's break out the receipts because numbers don't sugarcoat. A'ja Wilson's kicks launched with plenty of hype, sure, but reports say there's still so much stock left. They're practically destined for the clearance rack. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark waltzes in, drops a Kobe collaboration before she even has her own signature line, and 13,000 pairs vanish in about a minute. Not 5, not 10, literally 60 seconds. That wasn't a product launch, it was a full feeding frenzy.
I don't think I'd be in the wrong to say Caitlin Clark's Kobe is the sneaker of the week, and everyone's focus is mostly on this one. If you really wanted that shoe, I hope you put your footwork in, because there's supposedly only 13,000 pairs on Sneakers App tomorrow. Combine that with a really high resale value, I expect this shoe to be a relatively difficult cop. But my hope seriously is that with Caitlin Clark's sneaker coming out, that this sets a precedent and we might see other exclusive player edition Kobe's drop for the public.
The Nike site didn't just lag, it practically threw up a white flag. Secondary markets lit up instantly, with resale prices soaring from $350 to as high as $600. When Caitlin Clark gear hits the shelves, it's like Black Friday on steroids. Meanwhile, Wilson's line is gathering dust, quietly getting shuffled off to the clearance rack.
These things is some fire. I'm telling you, where there's smoke, there is fire, and these things is hitting so hard. And who got a bot? Who a shoe plug? Because I need 2 pairs. I need one for the sneaker wall, and I need one for my feet, because these things is hitting right here. No, I don't want to pay $600.
Now here's the real juicy part. Nike spent 2 full years pampering A'ja Wilson's sneaker line, giving it the royal treatment, custom logos, checker choice of designs. Absolutely, personal touches everywhere, from Celtic symbols honoring her parents to her grandma's favorite sayings printed on the sole. It wasn't just a basketball shoe, it was a family scrapbook you could lace up.
I lost all respect for A'ja Wilson. I don't want to hear her opinions. I don't care what she has to say from this point on. When you keep a Nike deal 2 years in secret while you're spewing all that crazy stuff about Caitlin Clark in the Time magazine, read it. Read what she said in the Time magazine. Yet you had a Nike deal the whole entire time.
Now here's the real juicy part. Nike spent 2 full years pampering A'ja Wilson's sneaker line, giving it the royal treatment, custom logos, checker choice of designs. Absolutely, personal touches everywhere, from Celtic symbols honoring her parents to her grandma's favorite sayings printed on the sole. It wasn't just a basketball shoe, it was a family scrapbook you could lace up.
So it's finally here. Caitlin Clark sneakers from Nike is finally dropping. She was signed to them last year, and the sneakers is a year late in my opinion, but nonetheless I'm excited because these sneakers is finally coming out. But what does annoy me a little bit is that this is a collaboration with Kobe. Now Kobe, respect to Kobe, the legend, rest in peace, great basketball player, but in my opinion Caitlin Clark is a big enough star and she's creating her own legacy. So I feel like, at least for her first sneaker, it shouldn't be a collaboration with any other player, dead or alive, in my opinion. I feel like Caitlin should have, for her first shoe, had her own original design.
And we've got to talk about the giant pink elephant in the room, A'ja Wilson's Me First energy. This is someone who's been hustling harder for personal accolades than most politicians during election season. She got her custom kicks, her mysterious logo no one really understands, and even fancy Nike commercials directed by Malia Obama. And still, she acts like the universe owes her more applause. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark just steps on the court, casually, drains a 30-footer, and oops, she's Nike's biggest female cash cow since MJ Wilson's out here loudly demanding her flowers, while Clark quietly builds an empire just by existing and being elite at basketball.
And all this was done while the shoe's being developed, while the collection's being done. To demonize Caitlin Clark and try to label her as a privileged white girl that's getting all the privileges, even though she earned everything she got. This ain't about color. This is about good and bad. And I honestly find this a little evil. I find this evil. This is beyond bad, because you had the ability to speak up and say, hey, everybody, relax. Don't get on Caitlin Clark. She got a shoe deal. That's cool. I got one too. Mine's taking a little bit, but it's going to come out. Just be patient. She could have came out and said that, but
The best part? Nike tried so hard to make A'ja happen. They handed her a $20 plus million extension, built entire ad campaigns around her so-called diamond in the rough persona, and hyped her story like a telemarketer on a caffeine binge. But here's the truth. You can't manufacture what Caitlin Clark naturally has. Clark inked her own 8-year, $28 million deal and instantly became Nike's most powerful female brand without them lifting a single extra marketing finger. Every time she steps on the hardwood in Nike gear, it's a multi-million-dollar commercial. No script, no storyboard. Wilson needs stylists, writers, and choreographed promos. Clark just needs a ball and a hoop, and she's printing money.
Nike just released a brand new commercial featuring Caitlin Clark and her new Kobe shoe that she released today. And I saw this commercial yesterday on social media. I thought it was so cool. There's a shot when she's in the locker room and she opens her eye and it like turns into what looks like a snake eye, but when you zoom in, it's actually the Kobe.
Now let's dive into the cold business reality, because this is where A'ja Wilson's entire fantasy starts to crumble. Caitlin Clark personally generated an estimated $82 million in economic impact for the state of Iowa alone. That's right, $82 million. All from one 23-year-old kid out of West Des Moines who decided to torch the NCAA record books. Her influence is so massive, it's practically a cultural meteor strike. Meanwhile, Nike execs have to be kicking themselves for overlooking the female version of Michael Jordan, sitting right in front of them while they tried to sell us a different story with Wilson. The writing was neon bright from day one, but Nike was too busy checking boxes on their social justice spreadsheet to see it.
Bouncing, connect, Sonic. Lays it in on a delectable dime for Caitlin Clark.
Even former Nike basketball marketing head Jordan Rodgers went public to drag his old employer, basically saying, "Congrats, clowns, you just let your golden goose nearly slip away." Their stock plunged to a 5-year low while they were busy, force-feeding fans a brand story no one was buying. Instead of riding the actual tidal wave that is Caitlin Clark, Nike was fumbling around, trying to manufacture hype around Wilson like she was Gretchen Wieners trying to make fetch happen. Spoiler alert, it never did.
Her stock price since 2021, it is down nearly 60%. Your executives and the people who are making these decisions, their stock options are worthless. Meanwhile, you have the single biggest needle mover in all of American sports since Michael Jordan, and you have somehow convinced yourself that you need to slow play this. Let me show you Google Trends search traffic for 4 female basketball players. There is one who only rivals Caitlin Clark, and that is Angel Reese, and you do not have her. She is over at Reebok. I am so confused as to how you would be so invested in the WNBA for several years, and you have been doing great work to try to elevate and uplift that league and many of the athletes there. But this seems like you have convinced yourself that this needs to be an either-or conversation. And we never have an either-or conversation in the men's sports. You have like 10 signature athletes. Half of them don't.
Now, all of a sudden, Nike's finally rubbing the sleep out of its eyes. Caitlin Clark's Kobe drop hits, and the internet doesn't just slow down, it implodes. Full meltdown mode. Meanwhile, A'ja Wilson is off in the corner watching her meticulously plotted months-long rollout get completely eclipsed by Clark's casual Tuesday sneaker. Release one she barely even promoted. The difference is almost comical. Wilson needs teaser campaigns, photo shoots, influencer seeding, PR tours, and still struggles to move shoes. Clark, she posts a photo, and next thing you know, people are lining up around the block like they're trying to snag the last PS5 on Earth. And you know what's really eating A'ja alive? Nike is finally admitting what every sane person has seen for years. Clark doesn't just sell sneakers, she sells hope, hype, and the dream that you could launch threes from the logo too. The public spoke loud and clear with their wallets. Caitlyn is tomorrow, and Wilson? She's clinging to yesterday's buzz? Just trying to stay in the frame?
You finally put her in a Super Bowl campaign with 9 other women, and all respect to them, but none of them are moving the needle quite like she is. Your tagline in that was "You can't win, so win." One of the best explanations I can come up with is that you are wringing your hands and afraid to enter into this politically divisive conversation that has been co-opted by the media and pundits who are race baiting and doing all kinds of ridiculous things around women's basketball. You can't win, so win. You have the unicorn, the chosen one, the one who everyone wants to hear from, and you were just sitting around. Gatorade, State Farm, Gainbridge, Wilson Basketball have all figured out how to have a point of view with Caitlin Clark. Please, for the love of God, figure something.
The market doesn't lie. No matter how many Twitter threads Wilson's camp spins up, Nike has been throwing every perk her way. MVP trophies, Olympic hardware, endless promo runs, and still couldn't buy the kind of authentic frenzy Caitlin Clark brings effortlessly. Sure, Wilson's resume looks shiny on paper, but Clark's gravitational pull goes way beyond box scores. She's not just a baller, she's a living, breathing pop culture moment who just so happens to drop dimes for fun. And Nike, after fumbling this realization for way too long, finally got the memo, because you can't manufacture what Clark naturally radiates. She never begged to be crowned the face of the sport. She just showed up, dominated, and let the world rally around her organically. Meanwhile, Wilson's out here basically campaigning like she's running for local office, complete with slogans, pity plays, and constant demands for more respect.
I find it's very deplorable to me. I find it's very deplorable that you allow Caitlin Clark to get crapped on that whole entire time and didn't even speak up. And on top of that, Nike's a bunch of a-holes too, because they didn't speak up and defend Caitlin Clark or speak up and say, hey, we got A'ja's shoe coming. We got A'ja's shoe coming. Just got to be patient. Caitlin Clark's going to get hers too. I don't understand the tactics here. All you're causing controversy that didn't have to be there. You're calling division where it didn't have to be there. You're calling racial, issues where it didn't have to.
Nike's pivot isn't just smart, it's essential. They were so busy crafting Wilson's image from scratch, they missed Caitlin Clark single-handedly dragging the entire WNBA into the mainstream spotlight. Her games regularly top 1 million viewers, while others are lucky to flirt with 300,000. When Clark comes to town, ticket sales explode. Little kids wear her jersey like it's a superhero costume. That's not marketing smoke and mirrors, that's genuine, world-shifting star power, the kind brands dream about. So when Clark's Cobes dropped on Nike's site, people were smashing refresh like they were trying to score reunion tour tickets for a band that broke up before they were born. Meanwhile, Wilson's shoe drops feel more like a chore, something Nike quietly guilt-trips fans into doing. Clark's launches their Christmas morning for hoopheads.
It felt like across the board, this commercial was a 10 for 10. And a lot of people have been getting on Nike because they don't feel like they have been promoting Caitlyn as much as they should. But I will say we have to give credit where credit is due. I feel like in the past month or so, they had been tweeting about Caitlyn more. And then obviously with this shoe release, they made this super sick commercial to promote it. And of course, just today, Caitlin Clark's new Kobe PE shoe sold out in less than a minute. And I saw so many tweets about this, so many people who were so sad that they missed out on the shoe. I saw that there was this one Dick's store and people were lined up around the corner, like camping out, trying to get.
And the irony, it's absolutely delicious. Wilson spent years griping about not getting enough shine, complaining about how long it took Nike to give her a signature line, venting that the media never crowned her the undisputed queen. Meanwhile, Clark kept her head down, dropped highlight reel after highlight reel, packed arenas, and accidentally became the global ambassador Wilson always dreamed of being. Clark didn't stomp around demanding the crown, she just flat out earned it. To the point that even Nike had to step back and say, okay, wow, we really blew this one. Let's not gloss over the scale of that moment. Nike's servers, yes, a multi-billion-dollar empire with world-class infrastructure, literally couldn't keep up with Caitlin Clark. They crashed under the tidal wave of fans, desperate to grab a pair of her shoes. That's not just impressive, that's history-making. Wilson's launches cause a tiny hiccup at best. Clark's, they create digital tsunamis that probably show up on Nike's investor calls and PowerPoint slides with terrified little graphs.
Heard that Nike stocked about 14,000 of these, and that is an unconfirmed report, but they sold out in less than a minute. If that's any indication of what a Caitlin Clark signature shoe will do, I think Nike better continue to get on it and get ready to launch this.
And again, money doesn't care about your feelings. Wilson can polish her trophy case all day, but Clark has something you simply can't design in a lab. An innate electricity that makes millions want to spend money just to feel connected to. Her magic. Nike finally realized that propping up Wilson was like betting big on MySpace stock in 2010. Meanwhile, BASKET, Netflix was sitting right there wearing Adidas in college, ready to revolutionize Nike's entire women's category. If they've just gotten out of their own way, now they're scrambling to catch up, while Wilson watches the dream scenario she spent years publicly begging for slide effortlessly into Clark's hands. Sure, Wilson's sneakers will keep trickling out to hardcore WNBA devotees who treat buying them like a statement of solidarity, but Clark's kicks, those will keep selling out to everyone. Kids, dads, moms, teens who couldn't name 3 other WNBA players, but know Clark's logo like it's the Batman symbol. That's the difference between niche activism merch and global pop culture dominance.
Nike released the shoe this morning for $190. That was the going rate for the signature sneaker. Now, I'm here to tell you, as you guys can see right here on Google, just type in Caitlin Clark Kobe 5. StockX, currently right now, they're going for $345. On GOAT, they're going for $386. And Flight Club, you're looking at $375. Must mind you, these sneakers was just released a few hours ago. These sneakers were retail for $190. This is the case.
Nike spent an embarrassing fortune trying to script A'ja Wilson into superstardom, while the actual superstar was out here breaking attendance records and casually turning every arena into a sellout tour date. Now, they're finally scrambling to put the full marketing muscle behind Caitlin Clark because they've realized this is bigger than basketball. Clark is a walking cultural moment who cuts across age groups, regions, and fan bases. Wilson's ceiling was always there glaringly obvious. Clark, we haven't even found the top yet, and this train isn't slowing down. Her influence is snowballing, and Nike finally jumped on the right bandwagon. Wilson can keep tweeting for more respect, but the cash registers and server crashes make it crystal clear who's really driving the future of the sport. This isn't a forecast, this isn't a wait-and-see. The revolution is already in full swing, and Nike just woke up in time to realize who their actual golden ticket was. Because the market doesn't care about carefully crafted campaigns, it cares about Caitlin Clark, and it just voted loud and clear, with every sold-out size 9 on Earth. If you support Caitlin, comment Baby Goat down below. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss what's next.